did they do when they were at Marah? They didn't cry out to the Lord, did they? They didn't pray to God. What didn't they do at Rephidim? They didn't cry out to the Lord. They didn't pray to God. What do we learn from this after these days of unleavened bread? Sure, trials and difficulties, tests will come upon us. God will allow those tests. What does he want us to see us do? To cry out to him, to pray to God, to ask for God's intervention. When trials and difficulties, or you have decisions to make in our lives, we need to be, the first thought we should be having is not to try to solve the problem ourselves, but try to solve the problem with God's help and guidance and wisdom. Try to solve it with the power of God's Holy Spirit, a spirit of power and of love and of a sound mind. Use the sound-mindedness of God. Seek God. So, on this occasion, they did cry unto God. Verse 10. Verse 11, and they said unto Moses, because there were no graves in Egypt, have you taken us away to die in the wilderness? Wherefore have you dealt thus with us, to carry us forth out of Egypt? So, their cry to God wasn't totally without carnality, was it? They were also complaining at the same time with Moses. Verse 12, is not this the word that we did tell you in Egypt, saying, let us alone that we may serve the Egyptians? For it would have been better for us to serve the Egyptians than that we should die in the wilderness. Are we going to say that this year sometime? Well, maybe there's a test in regard to keeping the Sabbath, or keeping a holy day, or doing something of God. What's going to happen to us from the days of unleavened bread when trials and difficulties come, when there's challenges that come upon us? Maybe an employer wants us to break the Sabbath and work for them, or work into the Sabbath with them, or what have you. What happens when we have decisions to make? Are we going to trust God?